Hey everybody, today for y'all I'm going to be showing you a brand overview of Mally. I haven't done a brand overview video I think since like last summer, and these were basically videos that I did a long time ago where I pulled out products from a particular brand and I just gave you guys my thoughts on them. Because recently, and I mean recently like within the past couple of weeks, I did a training with a Mally representative at Ulta. We were really lucky to have her come in and kind of teach us more about the brand because Mally was a new brand to the Ulta that I work at. And since I'm a Prestige Beauty Advisor, I was able to be a part of this like 2-hour-long training where we went over like every single Mally product, basically went over the ingredients, the functions, what it's supposed to do, and just, you know, learn more about Mally as a whole. So anyway, I have accumulated a few Mally products. Now my Mally collection is not extensive and I'll talk more about that here in a little bit as I get into my thoughts on the products, but we will start off with probably the most, I would say one of the most infamous products within the entire line. This is the Mally Evercolor Poreless Face Defender. This thing, excuse my reach here, comes with this little sponge that I'm sure many of you have seen. They claim this to be a poreless sponge, and the representative said that if anybody goes into Ulta and wants like a beauty blender dupe, then this is supposed to be it because it's a non-absorbent sponge, which is very contradictory. And I remember when she said poreless sponge, all of us were like, what? But anyway, it does have a different material than most sponges. It is a lot like the Real Techniques Complexion Perfection Sponge, I think is what it's called. You know, the little orange doodad that I talk about all the time, or the actual Beauty Blender. Very similar in texture. But the actual Poreless Face Defender, if you guys are living under a rock and do not know what this is, it looks like this, and it's supposed to be the first ever truly translucent powder. And this is kind of where me and like my Prestige manager, we were having this conversation about this. We were talking about how they claim this to be a powder, but there's nothing very powdery about this. It's very silicone feeling. It feels basically like a solidified silicone-based primer. That is like my best description for it. And you think about what, you know, silicone-based primers are supposed to do. They are supposed to mattify the face. They're supposed to give a airbrush, more poreless effect. So when you put on a silicone-based primer and then you top your foundation on top of it, it's going to help to control shine. It's going to help to fill in the pores. It's going to give your skin that really silky, smoothing feel. Now, I personally do not like silicone-based primers. I do not like the way they feel on my skin. Every once in a while, I'll, you know, try it and then I'll like it, but I find myself more than often I go to primers like Laura Geller Spackle, the Rimmel Fix and Perfect Pro, or my favorite, the Makeup Forever HD primer, because those have more of a moisturizer kind of consistency to them. And I find that I don't have pore issues. I don't have major oily skin. I mean, I do have slightly oily skin, but it can be easily controlled by a setting mist or a powder. So I don't find that the benefits of silicone-based primers really do much for me. So this powder, or whatever you want to call it, I'm a little bit on the fence about. And it's funny because I've had this for a long time and I just can't seem to form a full opinion. And I think overall, it's not ever a product I would, you know, repurchase is what I'm trying to say. I think that it serves a purpose for some people. I think that if you have pore issues, if you have really oily skin, you will enjoy this. I think one of my biggest issues comes with the method of application. This actual shape of the sponge, I'm not a huge fan of. Basically because I don't like to take that flat side and like stamp it on my skin, but at the same time this little, you know, kind of edge side here is not big enough to, you know, cover big surface areas of my face, and I don't like the idea of like stamping product on my skin and not being able to blend it out. I love, you know, just using a traditional powder with a fluffy brush because I feel like I'm getting an even distribution of product all over my face, and I just prefer that method of application more. I think for some people this could work. I just feel like I'm never blending and buffing the product in my skin. And because of the texture of this, because it almost, seriously, it feels like a cream more than a powder, you can't use a brush with it and get any result. You really do have to use this sponge to be able to notice any difference. Overall, like I said, it's a product I will use. Maybe if I have a really particularly, you know, like shiny day, I will use this, but it's not a product that I think I'd repurchase just because it doesn't do that much to me. I appreciate the fact that it is truly translucent, that there's no color in it whatsoever, so it will work for every single skin tone out there. There's just something about the texture, there's something about the way it feels. I hate silicone-y feeling primers, so I don't know why I ever thought I would like a silicone feeling powder. But yeah, it's okay. It serves a purpose if you have really oily skin, if you maybe you have a lot of pore issues, but for me, it's just not my cup of tea. Moving on to a product that I really do like and a product that I am actually wearing today and I'd recommend. This is the Mally Perfect Prep Under Eye Brightener. I have this in the shade, I think it's light. Oh, well, it's lighter. They have lighter and they have darker, which is kind of weird to say, but this one that I have here comes in the pen format. She also has another one that comes in a jar. I prefer the pen format though, just because whenever I'm working underneath my eyes, I really like something that I can either squeeze out of a tube or something that I can like twist up and brush on. Or I hate having to dig my fingers into any sort of a pot. I do not like potted makeup products, so I really prefer this. Basically what this is, if I put it on the back of my hand, is it's a very, very yellow toned concealer brightener corrector product. When I was talking to the Mally representative, this is not supposed to give you any coverage. However, I find because it is so yellow, it has that cancellation property to it where it will cancel any purple you have under your eyes, because again, if you look at the color wheel and you know about color theory, you know that yellow cancels out purple and you know whatever. If you guys want more videos about that whole thing, you can let me know. If not, there are like a million other videos on YouTube explaining color theory in cosmetics. But basically, because it is so freaking yellow, like I said, it just counteracts any of that purpliness you have. So while it doesn't necessarily have coverage, it does in a weird way, if that makes any sense. I really like this. I like using this under my concealer. I like using it on top of my concealer. I don't really have a method I like more. And it works under and over just as well. And I really do like the texture. It has a whipped kind of texture to it. It's very kind of difficult to describe, but it does feel very hydrating, very nourishing under the eyes. And I do notice a difference when I use this in conjunction with my concealer versus when I just use my concealer alone. Now granted, this isn't a product I use every day just because it's an extra step in my makeup, you know, routine that sometimes I am not willing to take. If I'm a little pressed for time, I don't want to have to whip out a whole nother product, but it does make a difference and I do really enjoy it. I will say that if you use too much, it can get very creasy very fast. The trick with this, the Mally representative said, is to use a very, very tiny amount, and I totally agree. You definitely do not need much of the stuff. A little bit does go a long way, so it will last you a really long time, which is good. And basically the trick is less is more, because otherwise you will get a creasy effect. Moving on to another iconic product within the Mally line. This is the Mally Volumizing Mascara. I really, really enjoy this mascara. I think, you know, mainly because it has a wand that I really enjoy. I really like these traditional, you know, bristled style wands. There's nothing fancy going on here. Traditional bristles, you know, spiraled along the wand. If I had to have one gripe with this, it would be that the product collects so much at the bottom of the wand there. And I've had this now for, like I said, about 3 weeks, and every single time I use it, which I went like 2 weeks using this, you know, non-stop, just all the time, I had to wipe the brush. And I'm still continuing to have to wipe the brush just to get that excess product there at the bottom off, which I don't like because then I'm wasting product, and this is a very expensive mascara. It gives my lashes a very volumized, very thickening effect. My gripe with this is I feel like the whole idea behind this mascara is a little bit gimmicky. During my training, the Mally rep was talking about how this mascara was developed because Mally, you know, Mally Ronkel, the actual makeup artist or the creator, founder of the brand, she would have to layer on like different silk powders and different like waxy products to get the lashes that she wanted on her clients. And that process, I think she said, would take an hour and a half to 2 hours. I do not know why anybody would spend 2 hours trying to make somebody's lashes look good when we have fake eyelashes out there that, yes, sometimes can be a bitch to put on other people, but definitely do not take 2 hours. I just was like, really? Did she seriously do that? Because first of all, I don't even know what celebrity client would sit there in a chair for 2 hours while you're applying mascara, and then on top of that, have to have the rest of her face done. Like, I would be like, are you kidding me? So I don't really know how much truth there is to that story, because Mally isn't a very old brand and there have been amazing mascaras around for a really long time. And I find this to be just a good mascara. I think that it won't work for everybody. I think it'll work for people who have pretty good lashes but just want a lot of volume and want a lot of thickness. I still love my Physicians Formula mascaras. They are by far some of my favorites, and they are mascaras I continue to go back to. I am wearing a Physicians Formula mascara today. day, and when I look at my lashes, they look nice. I find that they give me a similar result. This is very black, like I said, very thickening. It does make your lashes stand out a lot, so I like it. I just don't like the hassle of having to wipe off the brush, and I just find the whole backstory to this to be a little bit odd. But you know, that doesn't really count much to the product. It is good. I know a lot of people like this mascara, and I'm a person that really likes it too. Will I consider repurchasing it? It depends. I really like trying new products, and it doesn't wow me enough maybe for me to repurchase it. You know, I'd rather try new things, but if I feel like I'm ever in a rut and just nothing's working for me, this is a product that I would go back to. Moving on here to a product that I don't really have huge thoughts about, just because I'm not a huge fan of the finish of this. This is the Mally Evercolor Starlight Waterproof Liner in the shade Black Velvet. If you guys don't know, you can get this product, the mascara, and then 2 more products I'll show you guys here in a little kit right now at Ulta called the Bulletproof Essentials Kit. This liner is basically just your traditional black liner, however, it is filled with shimmer and sparkle. For that reason, I do not like it. I like my liners to be straight black. You know, I don't want a shimmery black, I don't want a sparkly black, I just want a black. So I do not like this for that reason, and I find that I never use it because I wasn't expecting it to be shimmery. On my upper lash line, it can look okay. There's, again, nothing too special about this. The L'Oreal Carbon Black Extra Intense Liquid Eyeliner Pencil is amazing. Jane Water Resistant Eyeliner is, again, very good. NYX Slide On Glide On, definitely a turn on. Those eyeliners are great, too. All of those do the same exact thing that this does, but this is a lot more pricey. Plus, in those versions, you have blacks without sparkle, which I really enjoy. Jane does have a sparkly black, though, if that intrigues you. However, like I said, the L'Oreal one, very similar to this, the same kind of gel liner and a pencil, very silky kind of pencil format. However, it is completely matte black. I mean, budge-proof, smudge-proof, waterproof, amazing. And this is long-wearing. It does work well. It's just not a product I would ever repurchase because I do not like sparkle on my liner, mainly because I can't wear it on my waterline. And if I can't wear a black liner on my waterline, it just has no use for me, really, because that's where I tend to put a lot of my black eyeliner. So, not terrible. If you're looking for a sparkly black liner and you want to pay a shit ton, you can get this. But if you want a more budget-friendly alternative, go for the Jane one, go for a NYX one. Again, it's good. It's just, a product that I do like and I think is good, however, I think that the name is a little bit misleading. This here is the Mally Longwear Liquid Lipstick, and this one is in the shade Starburst, which is a beautiful pinky nude. It is so pretty. I really love the packaging of this. I love the gold snakeskin detail around there, and I just love that it's a twist-up format. I really like this format of glosses, similar to the Stila Lip Glazes. This has just an amazing texture. I was going to say wonderful, but, both kind of mean the same thing. A great texture to it, really nice and not slippery but not thick and sticky. It stays on your lips for a good amount of time, but it doesn't feel like a really thick, really heavy lip gloss, which I like. The scent is pretty good. It's a little bit fruity. It smells pretty nice. I think my biggest problem with this is that it is not anywhere near a liquid lipstick, and I feel like it's just very mislabeled. It is a lip gloss. It's not a liquid lipstick in the slightest. If I was to do a swatch of this for you guys, I mean, you will see what I mean here. Let's twist out a little bit more product. Oh, but yeah, they do smell really nice. There's a swatch. It is just a lip gloss. It is not anywhere near as pigmented as, let's say, the Too Faced liquid lipsticks, or I'm trying to think of others, but you guys know what I'm saying. Like, it's not anywhere near an actual liquid lipstick. It's just a, nice, I would call it a fairly pigmented gloss. It's not anything that would be like, wow, that's insanely pigmented for a lip gloss. It's like somewhere in the medium. It's not super sheer, it's not like a jelly kind of texture, but it's not like, wow, in your face, really bright, like the Stila liquid lipstick. Nothing like the Too Faced liquid lipsticks. I just don't find this at all to be a liquid lipstick. And I have tried some of the other shades as well, just while I'm, working and stuff, just on my lips, and I keep on trying to find one that I feel like deserves the title of a liquid lipstick, but none of them do. The nude ones are very sheer, just don't even show up on my lips, and even the brighter colors, they're just, the pigmentation just isn't there, which that's not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong, this is a good lip gloss. I just don't think it's a liquid lipstick. So do not buy this thinking you're going to get full-on color intensity like they sometimes show on QVC, because that must be layered up quite a bit, because the normal person who applies, you know, a layer or two of this to their lips is just going to get a nice shiny effect that is decently pigmented but not full pigmentation. And finally, we have a very popular product from Mally. This is the Mally Evercolor Shadow Stick in the shade Saddle Shimmer. Oh, that was a lot of S's. This is a beautiful bronzy brown. Reminds me a lot of the Maybelline Color Tattoo in Toughest Taupe, and I will actually do a swatch of this on the back of my hand. Just gorgeous shade, so pretty. If you have the Bad to the Bronze Color Tattoo, you more than likely do not need this because they are literally the exact same. I'll actually do a comparison here. Alright, so sorry about the terrible placement of the swatch, but there, let's see here, this is very difficult. Alright, let's do this. There is Saddle Shimmer and there is Bad to the Bronze. They are literally identical. Like in real life, there is no difference. If I had to be very nitpicky, I would say that maybe the Saddle Shimmer has a slightly more brown undertone, but ugh, no, like they look completely the same. So I kind of take that back, because the more I kind of blend out the Mally one, it looks just like the Maybelline one. So anyway, if you're looking for a dupe for that shade, definitely go for Bad to the Bronze. The Mally Evercolor Shadow Sticks I know are really popular, and the whole thing about Mally is it's meant to be a bulletproof line, meaning that it doesn't come off until you want to take it off, which she doesn't put waterproof on many of her products, but she says bulletproof. I don't find that this is very long wearing on me. Granted, I have extremely oily eyelids. I don't have super oily skin, but my eyelids are just insanely oily. Sometimes even the Maybelline Color Tattoos don't last on me, you guys. I really, even underneath the Maybelline Color Tattoos, sometimes have to put a separate primer underneath them, and even then some primers crease on me. Primers that work for me really well are the NARS Smudge Proof eyeshadow base. What else has worked well for me? There's one from Cargo, the HD eyeshadow base, the Lorac Behind the Scenes eyeshadow primer. However, Urban Decay Primer Potion, Too Faced Shadow Insurance, those things crease on me like crazy. So I am kind of that like 1 in a million, I feel like, who long wear cream shadows just do not last on, and I have to put a primer underneath them or top them with a shadow or sandwich it and do both. And I found that, you know, I went on vacation a little while ago, or not really vacation, I just went out of town for a few days, and this was what I brought to do my eyeshadow with. This was, I decided that I'm just going to pop this on my lid, do mascara, kind of similar to a look that I have going on today. Nothing else but a cream shadow and some mascara. I'm not going to do liner, not going to do, you know, 5 different colors all over my eyes. Just one simple color and then some bold lashes by using mascara. And this creased on me so badly by the end of the day. Or I should say like 8 hours in, and my eyes were just a creasy mess. And I find it to be really disheartening because, I mean, during the demonstrations of this and on QVC, she claims this to be so waterproof and so long wearing. She'll, you know, sit there with the squirt bottle and go at it and start like, you know, rubbing her hand to show that the swatch doesn't move. But it's funny because sometimes when I swatch this myself, even if I wait a minute, I can still move the swatch. It really depends on how much I shear the swatch out at first. You know, and what I mean by that is that if I take the shadow stick and I apply it directly to my hand and don't smooth it out with my finger at all, even just a little bit, that swatch will stay very movable and will definitely blend out even 3 minutes after I've swatched it. However, if I do kind of like what I did earlier, and if I swatch it and then just take my finger and just slightly give it a little bit of a blend and lift off a little bit of that product, I definitely, I mean, this swatch now is not going anywhere, but neither is this Maybelline Color Tattoo. So I think that if you are looking for some good long wear cream eyeshadow, I would go with the Maybelline Color Tattoos. Like I said, even for me, this was not crease proof. I'm still kind of on my hunt for the ultimate long wearing cream eyeshadow that doesn't crease on me, because the day that happens will be a day of celebration, because I have never been able to find one in my entire life. And I've tried, you know, the Benefit ones, I've tried ones from Tarte, I've tried, like I said, the Maybelline ones, so many different types. None of them tend to ever work on me. But like I was saying earlier, if I put a primer underneath this, I do get a long wearing result. If the color's pretty, I would just recommend going for the Maybelline Bad to the Bronze Color Tattoo, again, because it is so less expensive. But if you're wanting a more expensive alternative, then there is that for you. Alright, and that is it. Overall, my thoughts on Mally as a whole is I think there are some good products within the line, but nothing about it wows me. You know, for me, the brand is like most brands. It's not perfect. There are some definite hits in the brand. There's some definite misses in the brand. Would I say it's my favorite makeup brand? Pff, no, not by a long shot. And for me, it's very hard to narrow down what my favorite makeup brand is, but brands that I really do tend to genuinely enjoy. I really like Too Faced. I really like Urban Decay. I like Tarte. I like brands that, you know, really push out a lot of good products. And really saying that I was only very thoroughly impressed with one product here, which is the Undereye Brightener. It's not a brand that I think I will be repurchasing from tons of. I do want to try her face primer. That is one product I'm really anxious to get my hands on because I feel like it'll be good. But I find her products just to be overpriced versions of so many different things you can get at the drugstore. Aside from maybe the Evercolor Poreless Face Defender, because this is pretty unique. I know CoverGirl came out with something similar to this a while ago, but I know that the texture of that is not the same as this. So this is a pretty unique product, and she does have a few of those within her line. But I feel like for this good chunk of products here, you can get so many similar items, if not the same items, at the drugstore. So, you know, if Mally is your favorite brand, if her products really work for you, I think that is awesome. Like, definitely, I'm not trying to offend you in any way. But overall, if I had to put her, like, on a school grading scale, I would give her, like, a C. Average, nothing mind-blowing for me. And, you know, if she ever comes up with something really innovative, I might try it. But she's not a brand that I would just, like, go to, if that makes sense. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you found it in-depth enough and found it, you know, fun enough. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye.